Hello everyone, how are you guys doing today? I'm bringing to you a cinematics video just to have a quick overview of the game and you guys so you can know how to play the game or what the game is about. So it is a Japanese based gacha game that was first released on Japan on June 2017 and it went out globally on July 2019. So this game is about 6 months old for the rest of the world, including the United States. And I'm gonna show you a little bit of how the startup looks. So you get to choose what country you're from. This will dictate the language, which you can then also change later on after you have set up the game. And it lets you select the server. Now in global, there's currently two servers, being the United States European server and the Asian server. But as of as of July 25th of 2021, there won't be there won't be a two different servers. It'll become one global server as it's supposed to be. Now, of course, I don't want to keep it too much into the starting up, so let's get right into it. Now, getting into how the game progresses, so this is how the usual gacha mechanism looks, and these are the books. Now, the regular brown-looking books, so your A rank weapons, and your glowing ones are S plus rank weapons. Now, ranking of weapons here in this game varies from rank A to S, SR, and L, and the soon to come LR, like every rarity on gacha games. But on the very beginning, you get a free 11 pool, which is the maximum you can do in one pool, which comes with random weapons. Now, the thing is, you don't have to settle with whatever you get. On the very first one, you get unlimited amount of rerolls, so keep that in mind. So whenever you do start the game, make sure you want to keep going until you get what you want, but please make sure to finish watching this video before you start, just so you have a better understanding of what you want to get for the game. So let's talk a little more into that. Alright, so for starters, I want to talk about the story. Now, the story, I don't want to spoil it too much since people love the story of this game, and it would really be a disappointment if I were to spoil anything of it for you. But I do want to give you guys a warning. It is a darker take on grim fairy tales, as my guild leader has once mentioned it before, and pretty much is as it is. As you can see right here, the character you see on the screen is called. This is Cinderella. There's her Halloween costume of Cinderella, but this is the class I am using. Now, when I say class, I'll be talking about that later on in this video. But first, I want to go over the basics. As you can see right here, I have a rank being 125. That will be your general level in games. As you progress higher, you get more energy limits, as well as you can do a little more stuff in the game. So starting off, AP. Now, AP is the energy that you use in this game for story mode, for resource events, any kind of event that you want to go into a battle. You need to use your AP. Now, AP generates at a rate of 1 AP for every 3 minutes. So keep in mind how you use your AP. But the game is so nice that every starting player has a limited amount of purifications to use, which I'll let you get to rank 50. As of right now, when I started, it was only to rank 20. But what do I mean by purification? Once you run out of AP right here, you have a purification. You have purification you can do in order to gain more AP. While doing this purification, you also get XP, which ranks you up, and when you rank up, your AP 4 gets filled up. But it doesn't get filled up. It gives you the amount of AP you will have at full rank. So in this case, you see how I have 133 of 178. If I were to rank up and the next rank will be 179, I'll have 133 plus the 179 AP that I will have been given from leveling up. Yes, you can have over the amount of AP as your capacity is, but the capacity only goes up to double the amount that you have. So in my case, 178 will translate to 356. But of course, right now due to an event, that limit is not there. I think it got expanded, but we don't know if that's going to be continued permanently or not. Now for leveling. Leveling allows you to put more weapons into your class, making you stronger and more powerful as it is. Now, what do I mean by weapons? Weapons, there's so many different types of weapons that you can grab and obtain. And of course, you want to get the better ones based on their rarity and what class you want to focus. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. I want to tell you a little bit more about these weapons. They cost SP to use. Now, SP is the resource you use in order to use a weapon, but this really is different depending on two different aspects of the game. The game is separated into story mode battles and Coliseum battles. Coliseum battles are battles you fight with your guild against other guilds, and in those battles you have a total of 400 SP, and the only way to regenerate it is by going through the purification process, which looks the same as purifying. The other kind of battles are called story mode battles. In story mode battles, you're generating passively 10 SP every 3 to 4 seconds during the battle, but you have a smaller capacity, being 200. Now, every weapon varies of SP consumption from between 16 to 25, as that's what I've seen so far. They might be more expensive, they might be much cheaper, but the more SP uses, the faster you run out of your bar, so you have to think about that carefully. The next thing I want to talk to you about is crystals, or the currency. So as you can see on the top left, there is two kind of currencies. There's gold and there's crystals. Gold is used when you're gonna upgrade your weapons, when you're gonna upgrade your classes, when you're gonna evolve. You use gold just to do continue progressing through the game. So make sure to use it as smartly as possible as you can, or as efficiently as you want to keep it. Crystals, on the other hand, are the currency that you will want to consider as the pay-to-win currency. The only thing is, you can get crystals through many different processes, and a lot of it for free. I myself have not spent a single amount of money, and I've been able to get a lot of crystals. And when you're starting off, I believe during completing the beginning missions, you can get a total of 3,000 crystals, or probably even more now, since they keep adding new ways to get crystals. There's also now, why do you want to use the crystals for? Crystals, you can use them to revive if needed, but I would not recommend, since it uses too many crystals. You can use crystals to get more AP. Of course, that's only for a last minute resort if you really need to, but I would never recommend it. I will always recommend to use your crystals for gacha pools. Now, gacha pools in this game are called grimoires. Now, there's different banners on the grimoires, and each banner has different classes that they bring, but we can cover that later. But be sure to know you need your crystals for these grimoires. You need 300 crystals to make an 11 pool on all of them, as you can see right here. Oh, this is a step 1. I'll talk about those later. Step 1s are different processings and have different pricing, but as you can see right here, this is one of the ones for the end of the year special banners that came out, and we have a 300 crystals right here for an 11 pool. Now, I recommend 11 pool because you get a guarantee, and you also get crystals way too easily. You get crystals from completing story mode, you get crystals from doing missions, you get crystals for even getting better. Like, you have missions here on the daily that will give you crystals. You also have missions on the main, which you have to just continue doing. You're ranking up, you get crystals. You fight in Coliseum, you get crystals. You get stronger, you get crystals. There's dailies, which I already completed my dailies. There's events. Events come out every... There's always an event going on. Right now, the event that is going on right now does not have any missions that I have yet to complete. I already completed my missions, and they gave me a lot of crystals. I believe 150 crystals, plus a lot of other goodies, which I will cover in a later video. Now, coming back to weapons and classes. The game separates what you want to do into two different categories, being Vanguard and Rearguard. Now, these categories are important for two reasons. Firstly, in your guild, in Coliseum, the battles are 15 versus 15. But you don't get to all be on the front line. There's only 5 front line on each guild, being your Vanguard. Now, your Vanguard focus on Vanguard weapons, being swords, hammers, polearms, and bows. And you're gonna want to know what kind of weapon or they are, or how you can distinguish them. Each weapon has a little symbol on the bottom left, and the bottom left, as you can see them on the top right. I mean, you see we have swords here, we have hammers here. Of course, as you can see, there's also instruments and books, but that's for Rearguard. Now, Rearguard are the remaining 10 people on the back that are assisting the Vanguard. So Vanguard, as Vanguard, you have to focus on different stats as you have to when you're Rearguard. So the stat-wise, you can see the stats that you have when you go to menu and to go into your profile. As you can see, my stats are not that even, but they are focused on different locations. Of course, for some reason, whenever I want to record, the game decides to lag. So as you can see, I have a lot of physical attack. This comes from different weapons that I do have, and as well as classes, but we'll go into more detail later. But these are your stats. Now, what stats do you want to use or focus on? This really depends on what you're going to do. Starting off, whatever you're going to choose, Vanguard or Rearguard, you will have a limited amount of stuff that you get to do or that you can focus on. So you'll be a mixed person until you be able to focus. Me myself, I've been trying to focus into minstrel or into instruments, but I've still taken me quite a while to get all instruments into my lineup, so I have still mixed Rearguard into my set. Now, I'm gonna be talking about every single weapon. So starting off with swords. Swords only use your physical attack stat. So once you able to focus on swords as Vanguard, you will need to want to focus into your physical attack and increase that greatly. Of course, your HP as well, and your personal defenses so you can be rear guarded, but your HP just so you can take more hits. But your physical attack stat will make it that your swords do more damage. Hammers are also physical attack, but they do multi-target. So swords do a lot more damage because they only do single target, but hammers can do multi-target, as in they can attack 1 or 2 people or even 3 people depending on the hammer. Now, polearms are the same as swords, I believe. But this work on magic attack, and bows work on magic attack as well. Now, these are the 4 weapons for Vanguard. As you can see here, I have no rearguard weapons in my front line. As you can see, I have a hammer, I have a sword, I have a polearm, and I have a bow. These are all Vanguard weapons. This will be my Vanguard class. But I cannot have any rearguard weapons in my Vanguard class, just because they don't. That's the reason the categories were separated. As a rearguard, you can focus on instruments, tomes, heal staffs, or orbs. Now, what are these? So they all have their different properties. Instruments focus on buffing, and you require to have all your stats for different depending on the buffs. So you get a physical attack buff. How powerful that buff is dependent on what your physical attack is. That includes the same for physical defense, and magic attack. For tomes or books, it's exactly the same deal, but this is on debuffs. They debuff the enemy depending, and the strength on your debuff is depending on your stat. And overall, heal staffs are the same thing with only physical and magic defense to worry about. So what they do is your heal as a healer or a cleric is based on how on your physical defense and your magic defense combined, and this will be towards the heal. That's how strong your heal would be. And then you have orbs. Orbs are magic attacks which give support buffs. So your magic attack is the main thing you want to focus. Is you want to focus orbs, but the rest of your stats also are valuable because you happen to give support stats to your Vanguard. I've been talking about weapons way too much now, so now I'm going to talk to you about the classes, which is the next important thing. Classes are not as important as weapons for your own power, but classes will dictate what you can use, as well as give you other stats with them as well, making them that much useful. But they're not that strong as buffs. Now, what are these classes? These classes you get from gacha rolling on the grimoires, which is what you want to do for the game. And the more classes you have, the more stats you get because they give you common stats. Now, as you can see, there's so many different characters, and you're wondering, what is this? Now, as you remember what I said earlier, the game focuses on a darker take on the grim fairy tales that we have. So some names that you guys might know would be Alice, as you know, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Dorothy, Pinocchio, among some other ones in the whole list, and they all have different skins. As you can see, this is again Sleeping Beauty, this is Dorothy, this is Little Red Riding Hood, also Little Red Riding Hood, of course, as the look dictates, and each class has its own focus on. Now, these stats are nice. They all have different stats that you can use, and you use mastery points to work on them. Now, what are mastery points? So mastery points, as you can see right here, you use them to level up, and you get them by using weapons. What do I mean by this? As I mentioned earlier, each weapon has an SP cost in order to use the weapon in whatever battle you're engaging in. At the end of the battle, when you are successful or in Coliseum, no matter what, you still get the SP out of it. The amount of SP you used in that battle will be converted equally to mastery points. Now, you build mastery points through doing more battles or through items called books, which I will be showing you in a different video as I make more Synthesize videos. Now, you need mastery points to level them up, and each level grants a certain amount of perks. So right here, as you can see, this is a minstrel or an instrument specialized class, which gives instrument based only stats as well as common stats. Common stats apply to all your weapons and to yourself no matter what, just by having them unlocked. That's the importance of having more classes, and that's why you have to keep rolling on gachas. The more classes you have, the more HP, the more stats you will also have, and the more class you have on your own on what you want to focus on makes those instruments or weapons way more stronger. Another thing you should also look at would be nightmares. Nightmares is another thing that is important to the game because they come and assist you during battles that will help you out throughout. And each nightmare is corresponding to a class of sorts, or just new ones that can be like give you a boost or give debuffs to the enemy, and they are all different and helpful in their own ways. There's also armor sets you can have, which you also get through story mode or through events, which can also be super strong armor, and they help you out overall. Now, one thing that I must note, because not many people know about this, or no, many people know about this, but starting players will not be knowing about this until it is told to them. So, as you know, you have as I had mentioned earlier, correction, I don't know if you guys know this, but you have your weapons first in your main lineup. But besides this, you also have subgear. Subgear will be weapons you were not able to fit on your main weapon slots, and these also give you power. These subgear weapons can be anything you have that's not in the main weapon gear. This includes also armor and nightmares. You want to make sure to have this filled up in order to get more power and be able to be stronger in the game, because they also give you more stats. Now, I know I did talk a lot about Vanguard and Rearguard, but I didn't really explain much on how they work. But the game has taken care of that for me and for you. So if you go to story, there is a event that's there forever, no matter what, which will give you a lot of benefits for completing, but it's also a really good practice tool so you guys can so you guys can learn from the game. So you go to the very bottom, called Study Hard but Paranoia Styles. Now, Paranoia, this is the name of the puppets that you will see throughout the whole game, and they are very funny and have a very dark sense of humor, so keep that in mind. So when you go into the study hall, there's a lot of different missions that you can do, which cost 0 AP, 0 energy, so you can do them to practice. And they all give you a certain weapon and certain helps. So as you can see, these are different little missions you can do, which will show you how it feels or what the effect is on those kind of weapons. This is for blades or swords, this is for bows, this is for hammers, this is for polearms, staves, instruments, tomes, and artifacts, which are artifacts would be orbs, or tomes would be books. So doing these, you will get the fully upgraded SR version of the weapon and fully leveled up, fully limit broken, which is also a different thing we can talk about later. You get the weapon for free, you get to do the mission, you get crystals for free, and you get to experience how it feels or what you need to focus on for that weapon, and they guide you through it. Now, what's important about this? It is important because you guys will not know what you guys want to focus on until you've played the game for long enough, after you've done so many upgrades and stuff like that. But doing this lets you have a feel about every single role in the game and how they play a part in the whole game for you, the experience. So I would recommend to do this as soon as you can, to know what you want to focus on, and then go and clear story, join the guild, and go on and keep on winning. So that's pretty much all the information I want to share with you guys. This video already went on for way too long. I believe it's gonna be about 15 minutes after editing up and cutting it up. But if not, that means I was able to cut up a lot of useless stuff for you guys. So in case it looks choppy, is because I did make this into different sets since the game is lagging and I didn't want to be leaving you guys waiting through loading screen after loading screen. So I hope this helps you know a little bit more about the game and know what to expect from these kind of videos. I do want to share more videos of Cinemalice as time goes on. So I'll catch you over the next one. Peace.